Hey, this is a 411 Sports World show exclusive with the NBA approaching. I wanted to chop it up with my boy Reggie. So we're gonna talk a little Atlanta Hawks tonight. You cool with that,
Yes,
Reg?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. The home team. Home team.
All right, let's do it right after this video. All right, welcome to the show, Reggie.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. We thank everybody for tuning in. Uh, this is the 411 Sports World show, and
Hmm.
if you all remember, some months back, I had a conversation with Reg, and we just talked basketball in general, little playoffs,
Yeah,
you
they
know.
during the
But
playoffs. Right, right, right.
yes, yes, sir. So now, all that's done, and we had an exciting NBA season, uh, postseason that had a lot of surprises in it, and we ended up getting a champion in Milwaukee.
Hmm.
First that was over 40, or I think it was about 50 years since they won a championship. So that was great for that franchise. But also, there was a lot of other surprises along the way. And one of those surprises was the Atlanta Hawks. Um,
Big
they made
surprise.
that was huge. They made it to the conference finals and lost to the eventual NBA champion. So that's nothing to hold their head down about. So we're
Right.
gonna
Had
talk
a
about the
pretty good
Hawks.
fight too. Good,
Yes,
pretty good fight.
and put up a fight. So with that said, there's excitement in the air in the state of Georgia and in the Atlanta area for the Hawks. They have a nice young nucleus, so we'll touch on those things too. But Reggie, just overall, man, before we jump into it, just what's your assessment of what you think of the Hawks season last? How it ended last year.
Last year, after Nate McMillan got in,
Yeah,
put the team in a put a new mind frame. We ain't losers. We ain't trying to just get a draft pick or fight for the eighth spot. We got some pieces on this team, and we can really push. They believed it, and they started actually turning around, get that
mm-hmm,
confidence. And you saw them going on a little run before going to the playoffs. People probably thought, yeah, it's the Hawks, whatever, first round exit. Nope, the boys had confidence. Trey Young had confidence. He heard the Luca talk, so he stepped up, showed that he's a leader on this team. I'm glad he did that too. There was a lot of talk about, you know, Hawks made the wrong decision in that switching that draft pick with Dallas. But overall, as a team, I think they meshed really well, better than I actually thought they would mesh. What's his name? The shooting guard Bogdanovich.
yep.
He really impressed. He really impressed me because I thought he was just another role piece, but he stepped up too. Uh, I remember when they got Clint Capella, I laughed at that. I was like, Clint ain't gonna do nothing. Nope, dude's probably one of the top 10 best centers in the league, maybe
Yeah.
top five. So they really got a team. And one piece I thought they missed in the playoffs, and if he could have got going earlier, Cam Reddish. That's my boy. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
looking for big things from Cam this season.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I'm looking forward to it. I think the first game is the first game against the Knicks, or
I'm
is
gonna
it
have to.
Detroit?
I have to pull that schedule up, and we can get our hands on that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But
I'm looking forward. What about you? What do you see going into this season?
well, just to touch on how the season ended.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Hawks had a very, successful season. They exceeded all expectations because if you would ask anyone, where do you think the Atlanta Hawks would have their season would have ended when the season began, you would have
Mm-hmm.
you would have been along the lines of like myself, where I was like, hey, if they make the 7-8 seed, that's making moves. And so for them to end up in the Eastern Conference Finals, When you have teams that have like Embiid and Simmons, you have Giannis out there, you have the big three in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things going on. Jason Tatum in Boston. Uh, there's a lot of obstacles in the way. Even Miami Heat. They're
Right,
always in
right, right.
they're always in the picture, and they were in the
Tough
NBA
team.
Finals previously.
Yep,
Yeah, and they
yep.
were in the finals the previous season. So for the Hawks to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, and to give the Bucks all they can handle, that's a successful season. So yeah, that's what I think about them now. I do think that this season here will be promising. I do expect them to be in the playoffs, and of course we'll get a little more into that. But just to answer your question, yes, that's how I feel about them right now. Um, but let's talk about this, Reggie, the off
Mm.
season and the NBA and the draft. Coming off the heels of being in the conference finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, how do you feel about the moves that the Hawks made as far as their draft picks and any
Uh,
acquisitions?
you got to refresh me on what acquisitions they made and what drafts they made because I
Okay.
really didn't follow the postseason other than the big moves and what what's going on with the COVID vaccinations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What acquisitions did they make? They pick up anybody that was out there?
Well, they drafted Cooper, Sharif Cooper,
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
young
That's
guard
right.
out of
That's right.
Auburn,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
and also Jalen Johnson. They drafted those two players, and so that was their first and second round picks. So Sharif Cooper was the second round pick. He was a
Hmm.
talented guard out of Auburn, and his sister, um, I think her name is pronounced Taya Cooper. She plays for the Los Angeles Sparks. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Jalen Johnson was the other pick. Well, he was actually the first round pick for the Hawks. So those are the picks. I just want to pick your brain on what do you think about them. Now, Jalen Johnson did play at Duke. He was a 20th overall selection, and Cooper was second round pick at 48, pick number 48.
Give me those positions. What positions do they play?
Well,
I
you're looking
think
at
Cooper. You said Cooper's a guard, right?
yeah, Cooper's going to be a guard. He's either going to be he's definitely going to be a one, and he's probably if he's ever on the court with a bigger guard that can handle the ball, he'll be like if you kind of look at like a Patty Mills type, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Right, right, right,
Somebody
right,
who could score, but they're in the point guard body type of
right,
player,
right, right. Got the
So
energy.
yeah, but he was very good at Auburn. And Jalen
Okay.
Johnson is like a swing man and a strong athletic guy, and of course playing for
He
Duke.
fits the mold. Seems like he fits the mold. That's what they're going out there.
Yeah,
Stronger, more athletic guys.
yeah.
Because that's what they need. What's the guy they had? The the power forward, good 3-point shooter. Forgot his name.
Oh,
Uh,
Bargnani.
yeah, yeah. Because I think
Mm.
they need someone. I like him, but he's not athletic enough for me. So if they get someone in that position to help him, I see. I can see them really making some noise with all those athletic guys, quick point
Hmm.
guards.
Yeah,
Um, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I'm saying they also, they're gonna have and we'll just get into their roster, but they have, Gallinari, who's a veteran.
Hmm.
At one point in time, he was a, pretty good scorer in the league, and he's had a great career so far. But I think if he's able to become to come off the bench and bring that veteran
The
leadership from the
leadership.
bench,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, kind of solidify the second unit. If DeAndre Hunter,
Yeah. We got to get him back healthy.
can stay
Got to get him
healthy,
back healthy. Hmm.
I believe that Hunter will, supplant Gallinari in the starting lineup,
Hmm.
and then you bringing in
Hmm.
firepower with Gallinari off the
Right.
bench, and
Right.
veteran and that know how to score and shoot free throws, things like that. So if that works out for the Hawks, I think they'll have a nice, 9 to 10 player rotation right there.
And
For me,
I hope Cooper. I didn't mean to cut you off.
go ahead.
I hope Cooper really, don't have that shyness about being a rookie. Because one thing I did see later on in the playoffs, I think Trey Young got a little tired in the playoffs, and he needs somebody to come in that can spell him, give him a good 5 minute break or whatever, and come back in because it looked like he got kind of tired when it came down to the end. So I hope Cooper does work out, or I hope they do get another guard that can come off the bench for Trey.
Well, I think that is going to be his role, and I believe he'll flourish in that role because what it does is, to me, it gives him it's a dual thing here. You get the luxury of the young guy, the rookie coming in, that really he doesn't have any pressure or anything that he really has to do other
Hmm.
than just back up Trey Young. He
Right,
can
right.
learn at the same time, so he gets to
Hmm.
learn. He'll be in a position where he was able to learn along the way, contribute off the bench, back
Right.
up somebody, play against Trey Young in practice, pick up on how because they both have similar type frames. They're
Hmm.
small, they're not the tallest of guards. So he can learn on the fly, even in practice and stuff with Trey Young on how Trey Young is able to navigate. Because
Right, right.
with that floater that Trey has, that's really a weapon. And
Devastating. Mark Jackson like photo.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And so that's something that Sharif can learn from Trey Young. So I think that's what you just said is great. Like he should be the guy that can back up Young, and that will also at the same time cut back on the minutes for Young. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And so hopefully he doesn't wear down and get injured, and especially like how the timing was not the best of timings in the playoffs. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, to get injured
Right,
when
right.
he did. So I think that works out for the Hawks.
Let me ask you this: do you think the Hawks was a surprise to those teams, and now they're going to be a little bit more ready for them? They ain't going to take them as a little brush off like they did last year.
Well, that's definitely going to be the case. Um, I think that's definitely the case. But what I really think with the Hawks was, I think a lot of teams realized that the Hawks were a good team.
Hmm.
What they needed was, and I like the previous coach, but Nate McMillan was able to get across to the team as far as a defensive concept. You know what I mean?
Right,
As far as them
right.
being better on the defensive end as a unit.
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
that was the difference in, you know what I'm saying, what before and after. And that's the difference of them making the playoff at the higher seed that they was in, like the
Right.
5 slot, versus just kind of getting in at a 7-8.
Hmm. They
And
played like a team under Nate. That's what I seen. They like it
yeah.
was a team thing. It wasn't all about Trey. It was really a team effort. And You- I don't know if you caught the highlight of John Collins doing the dunk the other day. Looks like he's ready for the season. Looks like he might be a little bit more aggressive this season, which that's what I want to see from him.
All right, pause right there for a moment.
Hawks ball
Hmm.
out the timeout. Cooper on the lob and up top to John Collins. What a play! Holy smokes! Did John Collins get up in the...
Look at this pass. John goes up
Even the Cavalier bench
and looked like he
couldn't believe it.
shoulders.
I mean, he gets Jared Allen out of the way. Allen fouled him. John's got a three-point play. The oohs and ahs in State Farm. My goodness. Up in the air.
I mean, he went upstairs. His head was at the rim.
My goodness.
There you go. So that's
Another
that's
T-shirt.
that's the play. That's the play that you was just alluding to. And so John Collins, he did get up on that, and he's looking like he's ready. Looking like he's ready to
Hmm.
roll.
Yeah, yeah. I want to see him be more aggressive. I like that. He seems like he's ready. Got the big contract, so I think he's ready.
Well, the Hawks have a nice nucleus of young talent, drafted talent. They brought in they have good sprinkle of veterans with Lou Williams. You know, I believe he's still there, and like we mentioned
Hmm.
earlier, a Gallinari, a Capella. So there's a nice mix there for Atlanta. So with that said, man, what do you think? What do you think about their chances as far as let's just say being in the upper half or the lower half of the East? If
When I
you
look at
if
it, I think what were they fourth or fifth last year?
fifth.
They were fifth.
Yep.
So of course we got New Jersey that's going to be at the top. The champs, the Bucks.
Okay.
That third
And
spot, I don't think Philly is going to make the third spot because I think all that controversy, I think it's going to break up their morale. I think it's going to bleed into the season. The team that I'm scared of that will the Hawks may not eclipse and get like a top three spot is Miami. I really like Miami this year,
hmm
but I think they can if they stay healthy. I think they can fight for that 3 and 4 spot and hopefully have home court advantage. I don't think we had home court advantage in no series. So this year we go into the playoffs with home court advantage. I think we can do something. Also, when you were saying they got a young nucleus, haven't we seen this before though? And what do you think about that? We had Josh Smith back in the day, uh,
well,
reminiscence to Collins, big man Duncan.
hmm
So we've seen this before. We had with Joe Johnson. We had the nice point guard. So
yep.
we seen it before. So, but I know we got a different coach. But what you think the difference is as far as the organization, how they feel about their young nucleus?
Well, I mean, for me, Reggie, the Hawks, that nucleus that they had with Josh Smith, Al Horford, Joe
Hmm.
Johnson, that was a nice core, and they were successful. You know what I mean? At one point in time, the Hawks were like one of the teams that made the playoffs the most consecutive seasons. You know,
That's
they
true.
were
That's true.
they were doing that even that, and that was during like LeBron's years in Cleveland.
Hmm.
Before he went to Miami the first time, and we know Cleveland made the playoffs a lot once LeBron got going.
Right.
But the Hawks was the one franchise that actually was that team that continuously made the postseason. I think ever
Hmm.
since I think it started with that stretch where they made the playoffs as the 8 seed, played the Celtics. Remember the year that Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen won? They defeated my Lakers in the championship, but it was right there. The Hawks
Hmm.
forced that Celtic team, to a seventh game. And I remember attending game 6 in Atlanta. I remember going to that game and it was rocking in there. It was crazy. But that's the series where Atlanta won all 3 home games. They had eventually lost all 4, but they had lost the 3 games in Boston. It went 7 and then they got wiped out in game 7 in Boston. But that group was solid. Like they all were about,
Hmm.
but what they did back then, they tried to draft a lot of 6'7" to 6'9" players and just
Right.
have
Well,
like
that was the mold back then. Hmm.
right. So all they can do is interchange no matter what. Defensively, they can just switch everything. Offensively,
Hmm.
they all can handle, shoot, dribble. So they had that and pass. Because Horford was an excellent passer as the center, the undersized center. Now,
Right.
fast forward to this Hawks regime, you have a player, and we're gonna and I want to get your opinion on this in a minute, but you drafted Trey Young, who's arguably going to
Hmm.
be one of the faces of the league.
Right. Right.
If
Right.
if not already, he's
Yeah.
definitely going
Yeah. I
to
think he
be.
already is. A lot of
Yeah,
kids look like Trey.
right. He's definitely going to be the face of the league at some point. And then you have like Collins, who's an athletic fit. Like I think he fits. He kind of reminds me of like the Josh Smith era type players, but the way he finishes with Trey's penetration, I think that works well together. So I
Hmm.
think I think that that's a good nucleus. And then Hunter, again, another 6'8", 6'9" type player, but he's a rebounder. You know what I mean? He's a
Right.
defender. So like the players that are being drafted, they have roles, they have things that they're good at. And I think in order to put together a real good team, if you will, is to draft players and sign players that bring something to the table so that when you put it together as a collective, you
Right.
have a true team that can get something done.
Right.
The piece that they're missing is obviously the experience, right? For one,
Hmm.
as a unit, you got deep playoff representation last year, so now you have some stuff that you can learn from last year. You have
Right. Building on that.
they have veterans, but in a couple seasons they're gonna need some more veterans that come in and help out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really what they're missing right now. And also, okay, let's not forget this. We need a couple of players in the league to kind of age out a little bit too. You know,
Right, right, right.
like your KDs and your Hardens, your LeBrons, the guys like that, they Steph Curry, once they start really getting on the back nine, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
now you're gonna have this new regime of players come in and they'll be their league. So
Where
build to that point.
Trey
Continue to
will
build
be
to
hitting
that
his
point.
prime,
Yeah,
really, when Durant's on his way out.
right. So when all that kind of stuff intersect, then you're gonna probably be having to deal with Giannis, Luka Doncic, you know what I mean?
Tatum.
Players like that,
Mm-hmm.
Tatum. So it'll be kind of their league at that point, and
Right.
and and that's where the Hawks should be in a position to, in my opinion, the team is attractive enough, in my opinion, to get you like a Zion Williamson. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you said that, because
Somebody like that.
that was my next question.
Okay.
So the whole time, with John Collins' free agency, I was wondering, should they not pay John Collins and try to go after Zion, because we see Zion isn't happy in New Orleans. That's the only thing. And you remember, everybody remembers, Atlanta didn't get that pick. How Zion was looking. So I think he wants to play with Trey. I don't know if he wants to play with him, now that he's found some friends or whatever in the league now. But I think he wanted to come to Atlanta, and I was like, did they make a mistake with that?
I don't know.
Or
I think they did fine to this point. I mean, the results are there for them. Zion still has some like he's a phenom, right? He's
right,
he's unique. He's like a Shaq. He's a LeBron. Magic Johnson. And what I mean
yeah,
by that is
once
like
a lifetime, once in a lifetime.
when you look at them and how how physical they are, or their stature, like
Hmm.
they have physical traits about them that just it translates to the NBA right away. You can go back to a Wilt
Right.
Chamberlain, right? A Wilt Chamberlain, he had it. Oscar Robertson, big guard for his time. Like
Hmm.
that's the kind of thing Zion has going for him. Plus his agility, big, and his ability to handle the ball. Of course, there's other things he had to work on. But if you put him with a Trey Young, and now he's really like a finisher, or
Hmm.
there's so much attention that has to be drawn to Trey that you already can't cover Zion one on one anyway. So just imagine
Right.
how that's like a freight train coming in. So I, I I'm thinking that I think that Zion's his family, his circle, they're trying to get him out of New Orleans, and
Hmm.
it's just a matter. It's not a matter if, it's just when. Will
It's
it be
win. Right. It's win. Hmm.
will it be when his contract's up? Will it be, after a couple of struggling seasons by New Orleans, and then they decide, hey, we need to make another move here, get back into the draft and maybe find another number one pick like they did with Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And
Right.
so and then Zion. So maybe they can try to do something like that. So I would, if I'm the Hawks, I continue to build the organization, build a team, keep the culture, a winning culture, and be in position when somebody does come along. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
Yeah.
you think right now they should just hold what they got,
Yeah.
not throw away their picks, not
No.
sign
Not.
players or whatever? Because I think Hunter's contract's gonna come up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And another player I was looking at, I mean, I like these new players, is Anthony Edwards. I was like, he's a Georgia boy, so come on back home.
Well, Anthony Edwards is a nice player, man. I think he's gonna have an explosive season, and Minnesota's not gonna let him go that easy. I don't think they will. I think
Mm-mm.
between Towns, if they keep Towns happy, and Towns and Edwards can be a nice combination in
And don't
Minnesota.
forget my boy, and your one of your players that you talked about back in the day that you like, D'Angelo
Russell,
Russell.
yeah, Russell's
Yes,
nice. Yeah, he's
yes.
nice. Russell's still a nice player. I mean, he is.
Not to take away from my subject, the Hawks, but I actually like Minnesota's core. I really like D'Angelo Russell. I really like him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, D'Angelo did his job with the Lakers too.
Hmm.
It's just circumstances.
Right, right.
Circumstances in LA got a lot of I say our because I'm a Laker guy, you're not, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our young guys are out of town. But that's for another day, another show.
Okay, and have me on that show because I got a quick question about that.
Okay,
Since
well,
you're like a fan.
and yeah, good, good. You saved that, but you spoke of John Collins earlier, and here's a quote from John Collins. He said he feel like it works out when you truly let the young core grow together. I feel like this is the time. This is the final stage of us blossoming into a real championship team. So this is what we were just discussing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, young core blossom. That's a nice
They
word that he
believe in
used.
each other. They believe in each other.
Right. So to me, it feels like they like where like how the pieces of the puzzle fit.
Right. One player we didn't mention, we talked about all the other players around, is Herder.
Yes,
Herder showed some heart in the playoffs. That guy showed some heart in the playoffs. He ain't
yes.
just a shooter. He tough. He's tough, and I like him. I like him.
Again, another draft.
And he fits. He fits. The key word is all these guys fit together on that team.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and there's a picture of him right there. Another player who was drafted. You know what I mean? And again, that's something that does need to be overlooked too. I know we talk about the players and we talked about Nate McMillan, but we have to give the organization, the front office, some credit here too.
Mm-hmm.
For
They
they're making
draft
good
pick.
moves.
They're making really good moves, and your homegrown talent is what you want to show the players that in the future that the free agents that might want to come to your team. Hey, we
Yeah,
grown. We got draft picks. If you come here, we might can put some guys around you. So that is a big key. Doing good draft picks, using your draft picks well, not just trading them away every year and year after year for some tired veteran. They really know what they're doing. So
yes, sir.
you're right. We got to give hats off to the whole organization, not just the players.
Absolutely, Reggie. All right, man. Trey Young, right? He was drafted the same year as same draft as Luca. They're gonna be tied together. And
Hmm.
there's always been a lot of back and forth about Trey Young, Luca, Trey. Give me your take on this Luca and Trey um,
Well,
union.
right now, if before I make my own professional view on it, in the barbershop, first argument I got is Trey took his team to the East Conference Finals. Luca haven't did that yet. So I thought on draft night I didn't know too much about Luka Doncic, but
Hmm.
I was rooting the whole time that they get Trey Young when Trey Young was still on board. So that was my pick for them. That's who I wanted them to go get. Then they came back around and got Cam Reddish. But I Trey's already showed people he's one of the top guards in the league. He is not. I'm on my way there. I'm gonna get there. He's there now. He's there now. So all he can do is try to avoid injury, get in the gym, keep working on his shot, get in the weight room, get a little bigger. He's proven that he's just not a guy that's going to shoot from the logo every night and try to, you know, be a crowd pleaser. Dude's a winner. You can see that he wants to win. He wants this. When they won that game in New York, it was the crowd versus Trey Young. He was ready for the spotlight. He didn't shy away from it. So the guy, he got heart. So Luca's a show. He's a show, but he got to show me now, like Trey has showed us, that he's a winner. He's not a guy that's just putting up stats, making nice plays or whatever. You got to show now that you're a winner. Um, I thought Carlisle was a good coach for them, but they got a new coach, right? I forgot who the coach is
Jason
now.
Kidd.
It is Jason Kidd. Okay, okay. So I mean, he got the coach. He got a coach that's a Hall of Fame coach. So he got to show it now. He got to show us that he's a winner. Um, I know they ain't got all the pieces, but I think they still got enough. I still like KP. I still think he's a good player. I still think they can make the playoffs and do something if they ever get it together. But right now, I'm going with the Hawks made the best move out of that deal. Were
Okay.
you one of the ones that was against that, or how did you
Ab-
feel about that?
Absolutely. I was not against it. I was actually supportive of the trade. A lot of people jumped on me about it, but at the time, but to me, it was a trade that actually worked out well for both organizations.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought the Hawks and the Mavericks won with the trade,
they
but
did. They did. They got
you know,
each one of them got what they needed.
yeah, but a lot of times people want to take the two players and then they want to, you gotta support one and down the other. And
Hmm.
just because one player is putting up these numbers, now the other player ain't no good and all this kind of stuff. But see, all that's got quieted down now. It's quieted down and simmered
Right,
now
right.
because of what happened this past season. And so, now it's starting to level out. And maybe people can now kind of look back at it and say, hey, maybe I should have gave that a little more time. But because to me, it wasn't just about getting Trey Young. It was
Hmm.
about getting Trey Young, and what eventually turned into Cam Reddish was another pick.
Right, right.
And of course, if the Hawks bomb on the pick, or don't make other moves and things like that, and then it doesn't work out, okay, that might be one thing. But in this case, it looked like it worked because you make a trade, you still get an all-star in Trey Young. He's eventually going to be all NBA at some point.
Hmm.
He's already led the team to a conference final. I mean, he's one of the better scorers in the NBA. He gives you assists. The defenses have to game plan for Trey Young.
Right.
Like they have to pick him up, trap him in the backcourt, things like that, which should open up the floor for other players.
Hmm.
So, and now he's developed this floater. So now he's either gonna hit you with the three, or if he gets by you, now he can hit you with the floater, or he can turn that floater into an alley oop. Like he's
Right,
doing
right,
that
right.
too. So he's pretty much, I mean, he's deadly. Now, with Luca, if you told me player for player, who would I take? Just one for one, I'll take Luca. But it's not
Why?
like,
Why? Why
well,
would you? Why would you?
because Luca's bigger for one. He's a bigger guy.
Hmm.
I can still get the 3-point shot from Luke from either one. So so at the end of the day, I'm getting the size. And I will say that Luca's a better passer than Trey. Like I've seen now they both can pass well, but I think
Right,
Luca is a better passer and he's the bigger guy. So he can
right,
create
right.
mismatches from the post, but he also can take his time and get you off the dribble, or he got a step back jumper, or he can shoot from three. So if you told me one for
For
one,
the
that's one thing. But when you're getting other pieces
yeah,
and you're an
2 for 1.
organization
Right.
like the Hawks, you need more, what I'm saying? Unless that one player is Shaq, or that one player is Wilt, or it's Michael Jordan, or it's Magic Johnson, or it's LeBron. Like if you're not talking about a player like that, then making the move that they made to me was the right decision.
I think they had the reason I wanted Trey was not because it was play also. I think they needed that culture change in
Hmm.
Atlanta, and you could see that Atlanta. They call Atlanta the Black Mecca. Um, a lot of hip hop and stuff is born in Atlanta, and I think Atlanta needed that player that's gonna fit that actual same mold. Believe this or not, I think that actually went into them getting Trey on.
Well, it doesn't hurt. I think with Dallas, if you want to take that same type of narrative, um, they just had a European star for 20 seasons with Dirk.
Exactly.
So now you bring
Exactly.
you bring the next European star in to carry that on
Exactly.
for the next 20 years. So Dallas has been set for almost half a century with a European star.
Right,
So,
right, right.
I think that's why I say this thing worked out so well for both.
It's
You know,
crazy. Ain't it crazy how that worked out like
yeah,
that?
yeah, it worked out
That is
well for
crazy.
both. Yeah,
It is
yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah. Now the Hawks are gonna be on TV more. Christmas Day.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, I think the Mavs and the Hawks play Christmas Day, man.
No, or is it? You know what? We got to check their schedule. Cause
Yeah,
is it
I
them
think
and the
it's
Knicks on that day? Because I
it's a
think they
Hawk.
open up with Detroit.
Well, I'm
I think
saying
they
on
open.
Christmas Day, I believe it's
Mhm.
Hawks Mavs. I can verify that for you.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Check on it, see what that matchup is that day.
yeah, I can get the producers to put that in. And
Are they're on national TV that day?
yeah,
That's wow. That's crazy. From no games at all, you make the Christmas game. Wow,
yeah,
wow. That is crazy. That's something to celebrate in itself.
yeah. But we'll
And
we'll verify that.
I
Oh, go
forgot
ahead,
who
go
it
ahead.
was, but some player was like mad because they didn't have a Christmas game. I forgot who it was though. Dang, I forgot who it was.
Okay, so you do have Chris opening day. Let's see, Donkers against the Hawks. So it's the Hawks and the Mavs on opening day.
Oh, it's
Christmas
opening day,
Day,
Hawks man.
yeah, and you're right. Christmas Day is the Hawks and the Knicks. So my
Yeah.
apologies there, but
Is
it's
that
the
in
Hawks
Madison
and
Square
Knicks
Garden?
Christmas Day at MSG. So that's
Okay.
going to be entertaining in itself
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
my goodness, because you had the whole story with what happened in the
yeah,
playoffs where the fans spit on Trey and then Trey take a bow,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And then Trey Young shows up in WWE at Madison Square Garden
Right,
and
right, right,
he
right, right.
interferes in the
He's
match.
the new Reggie Miller. He's the new Reggie Miller there.
Yeah, yeah. So that's gonna be a thing there between those. So that's gonna be awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah. I hope they win. That'll be big. They win that Christmas Day game. Didn't have a game last year. That'll be big.
Okay. Well, let's do this, man, before we get out of here. Let's go ahead and lay this out here, man. Let's lay it on the line.
Hmm.
Of course, we know things can change, right?
Man,
Things
you gonna
happen.
ask me for my picks right now?
You know how I roll, man. You know how I roll, man. We gotta put it out there, man. I
Really,
mean,
man?
yeah, it's time to
Really?
be bold. I want to
Okay.
get Reggie's prediction on the Atlanta Hawks upcoming season.
Okay. Okay. On that. Okay. Definitely top four. Um, top four NBA. I mean Eastern Conference Finals. I mean not Eastern Conference standings. Top four.
Hmm.
Um, won't be surprised if there's some a few weeks or something if they're the number two team in the league in the Eastern Conference. I let me see. I'm going to go out on a limb and actually say they're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals again.
Okay, that's bold. I like that prediction, my
I really
man.
believe that. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think Milwaukee will repeat. I think this year the Nets, if they meet up before the Eastern Conference Finals, if the standings place the Nets against the Bucks, I think the Nets are going to take it this year. So I think the Hawks need to get that second seed. If they get that second seed, they can avoid one of those teams, whoever has first, the Bucks or the Nets. But
Okay.
I'm going with the Nets versus the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, Reggie. So the Reggie, you have. Let me make sure I jot that down now. You
I got
said
static.
Hawks
You
Nets.
got me static.
Do you hear it?
Can you hear me clearly?
I hear, but it's a little static in the backdrop.
Yeah, yeah, I hear the static.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put your prediction up here, right here. You let me know if that's correct. Hawks Nets,
My question
right?
for you: will Trey Young be All Star this year?
Oh, say it again.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, breaking up a little bit, Reggie, but that's okay. But here's your prediction, Reggie. Hawks Nets
Yep, Hawks
Eastern
next.
Conference Finals. All
Eastern Conference
right.
Finals. Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna give you mine.
I'm not sure what the static comes from.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All right. So here's my pick right here, Reggie. seed in the East. 4 seed in the East. And that is no shame in that. All right, Reggie's out. But we made our predictions, and I appreciate Reggie being on. I appreciate everyone listening. And remember to continue to follow us. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And follow the 411 Sports World show. Reggie will be on a lot of future shows. He'll be on the Sports Brothers and other shows giving his NBA take. So for Reggie, I'm Mr. 411. We thank everybody for listening. Have a good night.